Okay, yeah, we can tell that it's time. That big here is something, I mean, really, that's going to be...
Okay, we are going to begin. Woo! Thank you everyone for joining us, and welcome to the 2015 CETA National Debate Tournament. This tournament in CETA is affectionately known as the People's Tournament. And the people just got a little bit larger. One announcement I want to make is this evening we are live streaming the awards ceremony, and we will be live streaming a lot of the debate, well not a lot, but 2 debates at a time, the tournament. And so, at least for now, if you do not want to be on the live stream, please don't come up here. Please don't shout your name or be on the video. And the other thing that we're going to be doing as part of this is throughout the tournament, we're going to be live streaming 2 debates at a time. We will come into the rooms. If you do not want to be on video or on the live stream, that is okay. We'll be asking for your consent and having you sign a form. And if you don't want to be a part of it, that's acceptable and no questions asked. Otherwise, please sign the form. One for live streaming purposes, but also for creating an archive of videos that we can use for educational and promotional purposes. My name is Paul Mabry, and I'm the president of Cross-Examination Debate Association, and it is my pleasure, sincerely, to host you all this year for the CETA National Debate Tournament. A few brief announcements, and then we'll kick it off to our Vice President, Mike Davis, for the awards portion. Want to first acknowledge our hosts. You're at beautiful Wichita, Kansas, being hosted by Wichita State University with their Director of Debate, Jeff Jarman. It's actually kind of sweet to be back in Wichita. Wichita was the first official host of the CETA National Debate Tournament in 1986 and has hosted it several times since, last time in 2008, I believe. If you have any problems, logistically or otherwise, Jeff and my information has been shared on CETA forums, but please don't hesitate. Feel free to contact either of us with any questions. That's Jeff right there. Paul, please let us know if you have any questions or issues or concerns. Second thing, the tab room staff this year. Again, in case you have any concerns or questions, would the tab room staff please stand briefly? If you need anything, any accommodation, any help, any assistance, a problem arises, please let us know. The final person I would like to introduce is Lindsay Shook. She is CETA's Sexual Harassment Officer. She is standing right over here. If you have any questions, concerns, or feel that there is a potential hostile environment in or outside the tournament, please let Lindsay or myself know. And even if you don't want to talk to us but want to talk to someone else, please come to us. We believe that debate should be a safe space for us to engage each other in our arguments, and please let us know if there are any concerns that you have. Finally, before Mike takes it over, could everyone who is at their first CETA National Debate Tournament please stand or raise your hand? Can we give them a big round of applause? One of the things that I've always loved about CETA, and I think that many of you share, is CETA seems to be a hospitable debate space for people. And so we really want to welcome those of you who are here for your first time. Hopefully you'll come back many times as a competitor, as a judge, a coach, even as an observer or a volunteer. We enjoy it. Please soak it up. It can be overwhelming. It's competitive, but it's a lot of fun. You're going to meet some friends. Possibly some partners, and hopefully you will learn quite a bit this evening. Whether you are here as a novice or an emerging programmer. Without further ado, please give a round of applause for our Vice President, Mike Davis.
Hi, I'm Mike Davis. I'm the first Vice President of CETA, and I'm the chair of our awards committee. This year was an extremely competitive year for many of the awards, and the awards committee was working literally up until the last minute, figuring out who was deserving of which awards, and it was really difficult. If you are ever feeling pessimistic about the debate community, I would suggest you serve on the awards committee, because it's hard to look at all of the nominations and not feel very hopeful about the direction the community is going. So I'd like to thank the members of our awards committee. And if you're here, please stand. Matt Struth, Gabe Murillo, Brian Manuel, Samantha Godby, Travis Cram, ML Sandos, Nick Shulo, Abby Williams, and Brian DeWan. If you win an award tonight, please, once you accept your award, come over to the side here and have your picture taken. We'll take both individual pictures and then group pictures for the different categories of awards. So stay over here until after the group pictures are taken. We'll start the festivities tonight with our National Debate Scholars. These awards recognize the top academic students in collegiate debate. Balancing debate commitments and maintaining a superior GPA is no easy task. I certainly would not have made this list. There are 4 categories of awards. There's a National Debate Scholar Honorable Mention, which is somebody who has a minimum of a GPA of a 3.0. A National Debate Scholar Cum Laude with a minimum GPA of a 3.25. National Debate Scholar Magna Cum Laude, which is a minimum GPA of a 3.5. Each of those categories will be posted online at the conclusion of the award ceremony. Tonight, we're going to recognize the individuals who received the highest academic honor, which is National Debate Scholar Summa Cum Laude, which is a minimum GPA of 3.75. We have 37 award winners this year, and Samantha Godby will present your award winners.
Aaron Miller, Kansas. Aaron Spickle, United States Military Academy. Anna Ivanova, Miami. Anna Shaw, Miami. Bennett Clifford, Wake Forest. Braden Leffer, Wichita State. Catherine Shackelford, Whitman. Cody Crumpleton, Minnesota. Colleen Mayer with Western Connecticut State University. David Silverman, Miami. Emmett James Madison University. Jason Sagalos, Emory. Jeff Nagel, Wayne State. Claudius Maynard, Miami. Lucas Baker, Miami. Luke Montiero, James Madison University. Michael Barnett, Louisville. Miranda Ehrlich, Minnesota. Natalie Binney, Sanford. Nathan Wagner, West Virginia University. Nicole Mayer, Western Connecticut State University. Nina Ortega, West Virginia University. Peter Chotras, Arizona State University. Rachel Keith, James Madison University. Rosie Bergeron, Arizona State University. Ryan McGovern, United States Military Academy. Sarah Beth Brooks, UNLV. Tyler Slaw, Wayne State. Jair Walmsley, Baylor. Zachary Vestrovsky, Washington. Stephanie Cohn, Florida. Evan Cartagena, Florida. Christopher Williams, Rutgers, New York. And now we have Clay Stewart, Georgia State University.
Let's have one more hand for your 2015 National Debate Science. The next category of awards are the CETA All-Americans. The organization honors 30 CETA debaters as those students who best represent intercollegiate debate. They should demonstrate competitive success, academic success, good conduct, and contributions to their squad. To present this year's CETA All-Americans, Brian Mann.
Abdullah Ayez. Alonzo McIntyre. Ben Berry, Wyoming. Bernice Delgado, CSU Fullerton. Chris Carey, Kansas. Dan Stanfield, UNLV. Darren Carroll, UNT. Drew Segal, Binghamton. Ellie Miller, James Madison. Erica Duff, Wake Forest. Gabriela Gonzalez, CSU Fullerton. Jacob Bosley, James Madison. Jonathan Barsky, Whitman. Jaleesa Hampton, Kansas. Kevin Whitley, Towson. Lenny Herrera, Binghamton. Maddie Langer, Wake Forest. Mark Bader, Weber State. Mary Markham, Wyoming. Matt Cassis, KCC. Matt Jalitz, UNLV. Micah Moore, JCCC. Misty Tippett, Weber State. Natalie Benny, Sanford. Nicole Nave, KCC. Nino Orteza, West Virginia. Ryan McFarland, Wichita State. Talia Slaw, Wayne State. Young Kwan, George Mason. And Jeff Nagel, Wayne State.
Let's have one more hand for your CETA 2015 honors. In addition to recognizing outstanding student competitors, CETA also recognizes the top judges in each region. These awards are selected by the regions, and they represent hardworking and dedicated judges that give so much to our students at each tournament. To present this year's top critics is Gabe Moreau.
All right, from East Central, John Coach. From North Central, Kyle Vint. From the West, Jim Stevenson. From the Southeast, Sarah Lundeen. From the Pacific region, Luis Andrade.
From South Central, Christiana Baez. From the Mid-Atlantic, Terrell Taylor. From Mid-America, the one and only Toya Green. And finally, from the Northeast, is someone who has served as a role model for so many in this community, including myself, providing encouragement, advice, and friendship, and who left us much too early, from West Virginia, Dr. Neil Burke.
The next award is the Public Advocate Award. This award acknowledges the contribution of an individual during the past year that has made a positive contribution to public discourse on matters of social import. The award recipient need not have a direct relationship to intercollegiate debate, but must be someone who has made a significant difference in local, regional, or international affairs. I'll be presenting this year's award to JMU President John Alger. It's my pleasure to recognize JMU President John Alger as the 2015 CETA Public Advocate of the Year. President Alger is in his third year at JMU, and from the day he arrived, he's made public debate and dialogue a critical part of his vision for the university. His commitment to inclusiveness and engagement began well before he arrived at JMU. JMU alumnus Sean Lowry, who nominated him, writes, John Alger's work prior to his arrival at JMU displayed a commitment to the promotion of civil rights and diversity across multiple spheres. As Assistant General Counsel at the University of Michigan, Alger played a key leadership role in the university's efforts in 2 landmark Supreme Court cases on diversity and admissions, and coordinated one of the largest amicus brief coalitions in Supreme Court history. He has since advised universities nationwide on how to build and sustain diversity initiatives and programs. As counsel for the American Association of University Professors, Alger worked with faculty members from around the country in developing and advising institutions nationally on policies, procedures, and cases on issues such as academic freedom, shared governance, tenure, due process, and discrimination. As attorney advisor in the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights, he was the point person on the development and implementation of national policies involving race consciousness, financial aid, racial harassment, and freedom of expression. I witnessed firsthand President Alger's commitment to engage discussion. He spent his first year at JMU on a listening tour. We met with alums, students, community members, faculty, and staff. Only after listening to all these concerns of interested stakeholders did President Alger create his vision for the university. That vision includes a sustained commitment to engagement. His strategic plan for the university focuses on areas of engaged learning, community engagement, and civic engagement. It's this final area of civic engagement that highlights President Alger's role as a public advocate. Debate, he recognizes, is central to civic engagement, and he frequently highlights the accomplishments of the JMU debate team in his public address to the university. I even received a text from a former student who was at an alumni event in London saying that he was there talking about how successful the debate team was. On a personal note, I've never felt more supported as a debate coach as when I speak to President Alger about debate. He takes time out of his schedule to come to our debate meetings and speak to the team once a year. And he truly understands the importance of debate to an engaged university. I think everybody should be as lucky as we are to have such a staunch advocate at the highest levels of our university. And for that reason, I think President Alger is a worthy recipient of the 2015 CETA Public Advocate. And I believe he's watching the live stream right now. The next award is the Newcomer Award. The recipient will be selected from a pool of applicants who begin participation in intercollegiate debate in college and are in the first year of competition. The application should show evidence of growth and participation in the next activity. I started as a novice, and I can tell you it's extremely difficult to begin debate in college if you have no previous experience. But these debaters represent the future of our activity. If you started as a college novice, can you stand and be recognized? And now I'd like to call Joe Schatz up to present this year's award.
This is one of my favorite awards because I also started as a college novice. And a lot of people who come to Binghamton's program start as novices. And there's an endless list of novices who all deserve recognition because to compete and attend national tournaments as a novice, competing against varsity, is a daunting task, but it's something that's truly educational. And so I strongly believe that to be CETA's New Competitor of the Year means more than just having a good competitive record, but rather it means embodying the spirit of debate and all that it represents. Ever since I met Jordan White, I knew that he embodied the educational values that give policy debate such meaning. Most people who join Binghamton's debate program respond to Facebook posts and then come to attend preseason. Jordan was not one of those individuals. Jordan was someone who in his junior year discovered the debate team through his friends and started showing up to our office. And he didn't necessarily want to join the team because he didn't want to start competing right away. But what he really got involved in and what he really cared about was the arguments that we're talking about. And he spent 2 or 3 weeks in the office attending meetings, not to do practice debates or compete, but just to actually learn the material and engage in conversation. And it was only after several weeks that I finally was like, so do you actually want to compete? And he wasn't sure if he had the time commitment or the ability to be able to do that, but with a little bit of convincing, he was able to join us for the first tournament at Rutgers University, where he immediately qualified for elimination round and then started a very successful debate career as a novice. Since joining the debate team, he's never looked back. Debate quickly became a part of who he was, and the team quickly became a part of who Jordan was. As the year went on, his involvement never waned, and he quickly learned to take what he learned in around and apply it outside of the classroom. During the Black Lives Matter protests that were happening throughout the nation, Jordan was one of the key leaders at Binghamton who helped organize the protests throughout campus. And beyond linking up just to national discussion, also linked up to a local discussion, and has caused university administrators to meet repetitively with Students for Change in order to address racism on Binghamton's campus and what sort of policies can be changed in terms of policing and the way to get rid of systemic forms of racism, as well as anti-blackness that appears in Yik Yak posts and things along those lines. And Jordan's been a consistent advocate doing these sort of things. And these meetings are still going on today, showing that it's not only that these arguments are something that exists in debate rounds, but a way that he's internalized it and figured out ways to apply it to his community. But he didn't just take debate knowledge and apply it to his community. He also took what he learned in those moments of activism and started crafting his arguments around that as well. And to be a true spirit of CETA is to do exactly that, is to take the knowledge that we gain in debate, apply it to the activism that we do and the politics that are important for us outside of debate, and then while we're still in the community, bring what we learned back to those people who are going in the future also continue to affect change. And this is exactly what Jordan has done. Beyond that, Jordan has always been a team player, but a team player who's not necessarily perfect. No new competitor is ever perfect. But what's wonderful about Jordan, when he screws up, instead of just sort of debating for why what he did was justified, he's quickly been willing to admit that he was wrong and try and figure out ways to make amends in order to be able to make up for people he might have offended, or as well as ways to become a stronger team player, which is something that's incredibly hard to do as someone in the debate community, because very much we get very competitive and very combative, and we're always defending our actions. But Jordan, in addition to knowing the correct actions to take and the wrong actions to take, is always able to do something more. And to me, this is what it really means to be a new competitor, is to have the willingness to learn, adapt, and go out of one's ways to always do more. Ultimately, Jordan has done all of these things. And he's done all of these things while also becoming an incredible student and an incredible friend. I would not be the person today, nor would I have engaged in the trajectories that I have research-wise if it was not for Jordan. As a result, I can think of no better candidate than Jordan to represent CETA's New Competitor of the Year. And I am sure that as he continues to debate in his senior year and in the future as an alumni, that he will continue to give back to the community as he has through his appearances in multiple high school tournaments in order to continue to create new competitors to make sure this activity continues to grow. So with that, I'd like to award Jordan Sita New Competitor of the Year.
The next set of awards are our Public Debate Awards. These awards are given to the intercollegiate debate programs, which over the course of the past academic year have best advanced the value of the debate in the public sphere through sponsorship of one or more public debate activities, including international public debates, multimedia debates, public debates on campus, or for community groups, and through the general promotion of public discourse to promote critical examination of public issues for diverse and general audiences. Presenting this year's winners is Gabe Moreau.
All right, receiving an honorable mention for their efforts in public debate is Whitman College. Receiving our third place award is the University of Central Oklahoma. Receiving our second place award is Binghamton. And our top award for public debate this year goes to James Madison University.
The next award is the Matt Grindy Outstanding Graduate Student Award. The award, named after my good friend Matt Grindy, is intended to recognize both the pedagogical and competitive contributions to the growth and development of policy debate by graduate student coaches who are balancing their obligations to their schoolwork and that of their programs. The recipient needs to demonstrate excellence in graduate and professional obligations as well as the work as coaches. Graduate students are the lifeblood of this activity. They drive bands, judge a ridiculous number of debates, and put in endless hours of debate, all while maintaining a graduate course schedule. If you're a graduate student, please stand and be recognized. I think the committee would agree with me that this was one of the hardest categories to decide this year. We had a number of amazing nominees. To present this year's award winner is Devin Cooper.
All right, good evening, everybody. So 7 years ago, I was actually debating right here. It was fun. Actually, it was right here, sorry. Right here. But what I did not know was that I would be the director of debate at a program so soon. What I can tell you is that going to Fresno was a very difficult decision for me, very trying. It was a point in my life where I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'll say that the recipient of this award made it much easier for me because that first semester at Fresno was pretty rough, adjusting to the Central Valley and like taking on these students that I inherited from a different program, and it was very trying. But what I can say is Maxim Bugrov is one person that definitely deserves this award. He was one of my debaters when I was a grad assistant at Cal State Fullerton. Met him when he was debating at ELAC, and he started running these anti-blackness arguments. And I was like, oh, what is this stuff? I'm used to arguing about white supremacy and anti-blackness, but cool. But what I will say is that he's one person that I see every single day, along with my other grad students, and he made it very possible for our team to propel itself from out of like the novice depths from before I got there, and changing a lot of the pedagogy that existed. And some of the comments that I received from a lot of individuals. I'll start with Candace and Sierra. Candace can be here tonight. I'm mad at you. So Candace says, Max deserves this award because he illustrates the heart, the spirit of a great graduate coach. While simultaneously improving the debate community through his dedication, pedagogical, and competitive growth, Max has no idea the impact he's left on me, simply because he believed in me. I can never repay him for what he's done for us, but I hope that this award can be a token of our appreciation. Being the first Black woman to qualify for District 1, as well as the first qualified from the ET from Fresno State, I think this is something that is monumental. Sierra also says, though he was frank, his criticism was consistently constructive. Without McGraw's help, involvement in our coaching, I don't believe that our debate squad would have made it to the top team in the district in 2000 last year. Okay. Some of his mentors, Cameron Ward, so even though he lives in Fresno, whenever Max is in town, he still volunteers at tournaments and events. He returns to LA every summer to work as a lab leader, Summer Debate Institute. He's volunteered for an array of jobs. And Tony, one of our really good friends, Tony Nielsen, that's the love her. She says, Max has numerous occasions made 4-hour two-way trips from Fresno to Oakland in the last 2 years to help debate area students as a representative for Fresno. Max speaks with students about college admissions, their opportunities at Fresno, and generally as a representative of college debate. And of course, I want to, first round team, Jaleesa and Q. Jaleesa says, as a judge, Max keeps it real, and I rocks with that. Q even said that Max is not a reppy coach or reppy judge. He's fair, and he looks for talent in students. Now, I can say for myself that I couldn't pick a better graduate assistant. I don't know anybody else that could replace him. He's dedicated. He even is annoying as hell sometimes, but I still deal with it because I wake him up every morning with a lot of slurs, bad names, but he can deal with it, right? So what I'll say is that join me in welcoming this year's Matt Grindy outstanding graduate student, Maxine McGraw.
The final award of the night is the SEED Outstanding Alumni Award. This award recognizes outstanding achievement, contribution, and service by a program alumna of a member school. The best candidates are those who are not active coaches, but those alumni who embody the best values of debate through their own debate, philanthropy, and leadership. These candidates trained in debate now provide valuable service to our larger communities. To present this year's award, Darren Elliott.
I am excited to be back in Wichita as a former Shocker graduate student. It's nice to be back in Wichita, the national tournament. Asked to present the Alumni Award this year. The recipient of this year's Alumni Award is Aaron Thomas. Aaron was a Blue Devil debater, of course, at KCKCC, someone I was very proud to coach and call my friend. During his time at KCK, he won a community college national title in policy debate. Most recently, he was a debate coach for Lincoln Prep High School and KCKCC. He started coaching for us in December and was set to travel with us to the Texas Swing. Sadly, on New Year's Day, Aaron lost his life in a car accident. Aaron's commitment to debate Kansas City, the local UDL, was beyond compare. Though his family couldn't be here with us tonight, they send their love and support and thanks to the organization for this honor. I'd like to read some comments from some folks. and I'll finish with some of my own. Shawnee Brunson from UMKC wrote, Aaron changed what it meant to be a competitor. He reminded us that no matter what your rank is, you all deserve to have a friend. As a friend, he ensured that people were happy with the progress they were making, not only in the activity, but also the progress they were making in life. And no matter how long you went without speaking to him, he'd always make sure you were life ready by the end of your interaction. Ryan Walsh wrote, being at Central High School, it was hard to find the motivation necessary to get up to come to school sometime, let alone fostering relationships or dealing with the day-to-day struggle of being an inner city student. However, there are those glimpses of happiness and rays of sunlight like Aaron's smile that made every hardship and triumph worth it. He motivated the students most of us would get up on, mentored those without mentors, and chaperoned the parentless because he recognized the importance of advocacy, not just as a coach, but also as a student. Ryan concludes, he cannot fathom a better candidate for this award aside the one who set the model of activism in his generation. Matt Casas wrote, necessary for us to keep going on in an activity when the world that sought to exclude and demean us existed, but Aaron's continued faith in his students is what motivated so many of us to even stay in debate, and I know that he still pushes me to be the best version of myself. A role model is much more than somebody who just teaches you things, but a role model seeks to learn from and be uplifted with their students and their peers. Aaron taught me that. Toya Green wrote, the debater he was and the coach he eventually became represents the best of what seated debate attempts to offer its members. Character, heart, and dedication to the activity. He wanted to make sure that you knew you were a person that mattered to him, and his smile was the ever-present reminder of that. Monica Medeiros wrote, Aaron's contributions to debate to his community and his selfless dedication to kids like me made him the role model whose lessons are permanently ingrained in my daily life and even made debate a possibility for me. May he rest in power, in peace, and in our thoughts. Monica was one of Aaron's students at Lincoln Prep High School. Brandon Nichols wrote, working with Debate Kansas City and working with community college debaters to help them reach their full potential. He was an intellectual, an activist, a fighter, a friend, and a debater with passion. Lincoln Prep coach Sohel Joya wrote, there was literally not a single person who didn't fall under Aaron's charming spell. It was that kind of charisma that made him a terrific fit in the debate community. Debate, and to help develop talent amongst young people, his work should be emulated by all. If everyone in the debate community were like Aaron, it would be a more terrific and safe place for everyone. Corey Fisher from UMKC wrote, Aaron Thomas was a remarkable individual, simply remarkable, a rose that grew from the concrete in the truest sense. He didn't just prep you for a round, he changed lives, changed you in an unshakable way. He prepped you for arguments you weren't ready for, cushioned your pain from relationships, and didn't foresee faltering, and reminded you everything would be fine when you were hit with trauma you didn't know you had the strength to withstand. That's what I call the Aaron effect. Nicole Nave from KCKCC wrote, one of Aaron's debaters, and notice how I speak present. Even though his physical body is no longer with us, he is still a part of all of us. Aaron Thomas stayed with me as a coach. I often find him in my blocks or my newest and most thought out arguments. There is no one else that can compare to his dedication and his inspiration. Aaron put in countless hours over the winter break to prepare me for a tournament that he wouldn't even get the chance to make it to. There could be no one more deserving or dedicated that could deserve the Alumni of the Year award, other than the not so late but more than great Aaron Thomas. His high school friend Mathino wrote, Aaron was like so many of us, divergent, transcending, unparalleled. The truth about us all, the truth of our friendship was that there was no judgment, just uplifting each other in unconditional care. With him, I became a better brother, uncle, son, debater, student, and a whole better black man, to know when to boss up or shut up. And that's the real application of our behavior. To get to peace truthfully is the exchange of love that Aaron taught. I'd like to say that if you didn't know Aaron, it's unfortunate. If you did, you know that Aaron fought for social justice in a world that's filled with social inequality. Aaron Thomas fought for fairness in a world often consumed by the very fight for survival. The last time I sat down and talked to him in person was in November at a high school tournament. And he immediately began the conversation asking me how I was doing. He knew I'd been having some health issues, and he was genuinely concerned, so much so that the person I knew that was well-read on a ton of subjects began talking to me about things that he knew was going on with me that he otherwise would never have known, other than he sought out that information because he knew we were going to have a conversation. We talked about the Royals, whom we shared a mutual love for, and the season they had and the season that was going to be coming up. We talked about his future and his high school kids and his plans to continue to change the world. He had a smile that filled the room. We talked about how proud he was of his former KCKCC teammate Marquise and how he was tearing it up at the University of Oklahoma. We talked a lot about the community and the things in the community that he found hope in, but more than that, we talked about something that I think it's only important to share tonight because otherwise it's not going to be shared. We talked about the things about the community that made him sad, about the microaggressions that many people in this community face. He spoke about the need for genuine people to be heard over those who speak about diversity and inclusion but practice divisiveness. The coaches and the debaters who talk about making debate more hospitable, but in small circles with their friends or at the bar, joke about those real-life issues that people are facing that they have no clue about. We talked about the people who, when their own teams make arguments about social change, they embrace it as if it was their own idea, all the while engaging in microaggressions against other people's students. Far too often, it's coaches towards undergraduate students, and when he said that line to me, it hit me because he's right. When community actions like that, and a lot of people talk about Aaron's smile, and it was infectious. When community actions like that make someone like Aaron sad, someone who always smiled, you know we have a lot of work left to do. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind people of that on his behalf. He said in that conversation, and he would say if he was here tonight, you can do better, we can all do better. So tonight, that's the challenge I leave you with on Aaron's behalf, is to simply do better. Not just publicly, where people are watching, but privately in those small circles of friends. Make your friends do better. If you were ever touched by Aaron's life, and you no doubt were touched by his death, please don't let either of those be in vain. He will rest in power, but he will never truly rest until those who are most affected by society's ills take back the power too long overdue to them. Rest well, my friend, and thank you for this honor to the SEED organization.
Thank you, Darren, Aaron, and all of the other award winners this evening for those moving comments that I think really tried to help inspire us to do better and reflect on why we debate and how we debate. This evening, rather than pass out paper pairings, pairings have been issued, published, distributed electronically. So you should be getting messages. I see you all reaching for your smartphones. I have a paper copy because I don't actually have a smartphone. The other announcement we'd like to make is for awards. Those of you who received awards that are plaques, we have boxes up here if they would make it easier for you to ship home or to travel with. Remember, pairings are now available. Debates start at 8 a.m. This is CETA. It is the People's Tournament. Please have fun, enjoy your debates, and we'll see you all in the morning.